All right, let's go. Welcome, everybody, to JRC Stocks. Today, we have an epic show for you. We've got Trent Daniel, the incoming COO of BQST, with the sexiest float and stock structure we've seen in a while, and some really good information that I think is going to blow your mind if you're looking for an AI stock to potentially invest in. So, want to give a big shout out to Shido down here on the left for joining us, one of our techie nerdy gurus when it comes to all information concerning stock cycles, financial cycles, regulatory filings. I mean, this guy is a wealth of information. Shido, thanks for coming on here, man.
Thanks.
Pat, the OTC method guru. Guys, listen, if you're on here because you learn how to trade from Pat, or you're in his trading room, or you guys have just known and followed some of the stocks he's represented, guys, look, we're here to provide you with some in-depth, insightful information to help you do the best you can with your trading. And of course, in the top right, we got Trent Daniel. Thank you so much for coming on, Trent. It's an honor and pleasure to have you here.
Good talking to you. Good talking to you again, actually. It's great to see you guys.
You too. Been a while.
It has been a while. We're in a whole different world now, but we've got some really interesting stuff to share with everybody. So it's great to see you guys. I love the video format. This is really cool. I like it.
Well, guys, if you're just coming on, please go ahead and share this, because we're going to do something that I don't believe has been done before. Not only are we going to talk about this AI stuff, but we're going to see it work firsthand. So you're going to want to stay tuned. So go and share this podcast right now. Share this live stream on X. If you're following us on YouTube, go and share it with your friends. Copy a link, paste it, get them in here so you can see firsthand how AI can transform a company's life, even companies. I'm not going to give him a cue now. We'll wait for that later. There's some big companies getting on this that he's already involved with. I can't wait for you to find out. So without further ado, I'm going to let Shido and Pat step out for a second, and we're going to get this Q&A on.
Good seeing you guys.
All right, Trent.
All right. Let's go.
Well, you know where it starts. Listen, I mean, if you haven't been following TONR, which is where Trent comes from, then I want everybody to have an idea of where you come from and what your background is. So introduce yourself and let people know who you are, if you would.
Okay, cool. No problem. First of all, it's great to see everybody. And forgive me for the shameless Chick-fil-A plug. I just got over a cold, and if I don't have something to drink, my voice is gonna literally shut down. So forgive me, guys, for that. But Chick-fil-A, that's the only way to go. My background, I founded with my partners Tanner back in 2011. The company was formed to be a toy company, and we 3 years after we launched, we ended up getting a deal with 3,000 Walmart stores. So that was fantastic. After that, partners kind of went their separate ways. The business didn't do much, but we kept the public company alive, specifically for the purposes of moving a new business model into the company, which we ended up in the software, crypto software, trading software space, which, and due to some of the technology that we were using in development of the software, we started working with machine learning and artificial intelligence, which led us to where we were there. I wasn't working for the company. I was literally just a product consultant. And then BioQuest came along, and I had a company that I formed named BotMakers. BioQuest came along. They were looking for a lateral move in their space. And so here we are today, and now I'm talking to you guys again. And I just need to say, for everybody that's here for Tanner, I've got some really great news. Just hang on, it's coming.
Outstanding. Now, you sent me a whole lot of questions, but I think that just leading out, help everybody understand the transition from Tanner to BQST and what that means to yourself as well as potentially TONR shareholders.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, after I founded Tonner back in 2011, and in 2016, I decided I wanted to pursue some other ventures. I actually wrote a book with Bernadette Stanis, who played Thelma on the TV show Good Times. That was my first celebrity book that I wrote. And so we worked on some projects together, film and television, things like that, and also some other book projects. So I kind of, had a period where I kind of was out of the public company space. And then Tonner wanted to continue to do business. And so that's when we started working on the trade score product lines. So my transition over to BQST was always that I never really wanted to have an inside position with Tonner because I didn't want to have to tie myself down to that. But I was consulting them, helping develop product, things like that. But like I said, there was a natural transition over to BQST because they were looking for exactly what BotMakers was. BotMakers was strictly an artificial intelligence business communications company. BioQuest came to us and they were like, listen, if we can acquire or absorb BotMakers into BioQuest, and then eventually the public company will actually be BotMakers. So that's kind of how the transition. But what I needed to make sure of, there was a fantastic share structure, and that's exactly what we found with BQST.
Yes, you did. I posted a link with some of the updated bullet points on that share structure. I mean, everybody's been around these OTC market companies forever. We've seen some crazy stuff.
Yes.
I mean, the toxic debt, the bloated pigs, as we call them. And here you find yourself with less than 160,000 shares in the float.
Yes, absolutely. It's, I mean, you've been in this space that's, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, it really doesn't. And the partners, Tom Hemingway and the Viking Capital Partners and other people that are involved in that company have been so wonderful to work with. A lot of times when you find a company that's available for some type of merger or acquisition or whatever partnership, the players, they tend to be a little sketchy and a little, there's always something they don't want to tell you, or the gotchas and and none of that with BioQuest. It has absolutely been run phenomenally for it to transition from what it was doing to what it is doing now. The books are beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely pristine situation. And I knew that this was the place to move to, which is why I accepted the offer to actually be the COO of the company. And it put me in the perfect position to make sure that my initial goal from back in 2011 is to reward the fantastic shareholders at Tonner. Okay. And to put them in a position to really win, because they've been through a lot. So that's just kind of how that transition happened and why there's BioQuest now and BotMakers and where all that's coming from.
All right. Now, before we get into the Reg A, something that ties into that, you mentioned it's going to benefit the shareholders. Now, from my understanding, BotMakers is how it's going to benefit the shareholders. I said you're going to potentially, maybe it hadn't transpired yet, so I expect that you're looking to do a deal to acquire BotMakers from TONR, right? How does that look, and what's it going to play out like?
TONR has a property called AI Callers. Okay. The deal has already been agreed to, and Tonner people, hold on to your hats. I am going to buy that property from Tonner for 1 million shares of stock in BioQuest. Okay. And that's coming from my own personal shares. That's not any new issuance or anything like that. That's coming from my own personal shares, and I'm going to do that. So we're going to acquire the AI Callers brand and that technology and move it under BioQuest. Now, why are we doing that? Well, the reason we're doing that, because what Tonner needs now is assets, and it needs a continuous capital infusion that can come from places other than going out and trying to raise money in bad financial conditions, and the debt and everything on Tonner is just bad. So by having this BioQuest stock as an asset, there will be facilities in place so Tanner can actually make some decision and make some moves, clean up some debt, do those kind of things, and get that balance sheet looking a lot better, which we can get the stock price up. So that's literally why I took the position as COO, to be able to do this. Now, here's a wonderful piece of news for you guys over at Tanner. I've been in talks for the last 6 months with the company about actually taking over as CEO, and I've made the decision that I am going to do that. We can't announce a specific date when that's going to happen, but I am going to take over the position as CEO of Tanner, because there are other people that can step in for BioQuest and take the COO, CFO, and all those positions, and we can work together in tandem. So this is something that I only wanted to announce on this show, and it's going to be fantastic. A lot of people have been, is he ever going to be the CEO of the company? Yes, I am, because my heart has always been with Tanner, and I just needed something like this BioQuest deal to come through where this can do that. But again, I want everybody to understand, this is coming from my own personal shares ownership in BioQuest. This is not something where BioQuest is issuing a bunch of new shares to do this. This is coming from what's already out there. So I've always wanted to continue to prove my commitment to Tanner, and I'm going to double and triple down and make this thing happen and bring us all, rising tides lifts all ships.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot. Is there going to be any possible revenue sharing, or strictly a transfer of the intellectual properties?
We're looking at all kind of options there. Okay. What we do know is that we want the shareholders to win and start to win fast. How that translates, those are things, because I haven't even officially accepted the position over at Tanner, and I need to have a little bit of time to do that, because I've got to divest of some things before I actually take over that. So, but what I will tell you is this: listen, Tanner people, if you've been riding with us this long, don't jump out of the car, okay? Because we're about to do exactly what we've been saying we were going to do all these years. And people that are looking at BioQuest, I will tell you that this is an absolute game-changing, fantastic opportunity and time for everybody to get on board with us, because we're going to rock and roll, and we're not going to have any of those overhang problems that we had with Tanner, with share structure and toxic debt from the past, and any of that.
Well, we have a comment from Marcus Derringer. He said, "Stand up, chaps." So kudos to you, Trent. Now, on to the next question. Now, we mentioned a Reg A. Now, there's
Yes.
a lot of, sometimes it's negative connotation, but if it's used properly, can be extremely influential in the growth and transition of an emerging growth company. So,
Yes.
can you explain to everybody about BotMakers and the Reg A, and how BioQuest is going to give us more details on this.
Okay, so the Reg A was filed by BioQuest, and the purpose of the Reg A for BioQuest was to raise up to $5 million to facilitate rapid and massive expansion of the AI service products and service lines that we're bringing in from BioQuest. And we've already done a lot of this, okay? So a lot of this is already done. And so what the Reg A does, and I want people to understand, and he's absolutely right, Reg A's can be dangerous, okay, for shareholders, because you're literally talking about immediately free trading stock, okay? But what we've done, we've taken a strategic approach with this, where first of all, we're going to raise money that we need, and not raise money just because we can raise money. I want to first of all understand that, okay? The second thing is, we're not going to do with the Reg A what a lot of companies do, is that they do a Reg A and then they go get money from the same toxic people that would have given them toxic debt. Okay, that's insane. You just don't do that. So we're going to be very narrow. We're going to be very focused and very precise on what we do with this Reg A. For us, and I say us meaning BioQuest and BotMakers, this Reg A is a tool, okay? It's not our only way to get to the show. This is just a tool and a resource for us to use, because there are a lot of enthusiastic investors based on this share price and based on this share structure that want to be able to take care of supporting the company through some of the immediate liquidity offered by the Reg A. But absolutely can assure you guys that this thing is happening so fast, it's moving. And I have one big, major thing that I can't tell you yet, but
what is it?
Right. Let's put it this way, guys. And listen, if you don't want to believe me, don't. Okay, but I'm not selling you. I have nothing to sell you on. That's one thing as CEO and COO that I'm going to look you in your face and just tell you straight up. Okay. This next coming project that we have is going to be bigger than Facebook, WhatsApp, any of the social media apps out there. I'm making that statement. Okay. And I'm making it
That's a
bold.
bold statement.
That is a bold statement. And what I will tell you is that this is a culmination of some absolutely brilliant people with some fantastic ideas. And we found holes in the social media marketplace that are just waiting to be filled by artificial intelligence and innovation. Okay. I would love to tell you this, but I'm just telling you guys now, this is so big and so major. When we roll this out and we announce this, it's just going to be big. That's all I can say.
You can say big, bigger, biggest, but you know.
I can say big, 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 bigger. You know, I'm in Texas, so everything's bigger here in Texas. So, but no, we've got some fantastic things on the line and coming up. And again, for those of you that have been following me, and I do appreciate the followers that kind of keep up with me in the social media space. This is not going to be that bumpy ride, like I said, that we've had with Tanner, or that there with Tanner. This is going to be one where everything that's needed is already in place, and it's already working, and it's already happening now. It's really, really exciting time, and I'm excited to even show you this technology because it's just fantastic.
Well, it's going to be something more of a smooth transition.
Smooth transition, smooth but fast. Okay.
Keep it steady. So what's the primary goal of the acquisition of BotMakers?
The primary goal for the acquisition of BotMakers is to give a perfectly pristine, beautiful share structure public company what it deserves to have, and that is a place amongst the really cream of the crop when you're talking about OTC stocks. And absolutely, there are plans to uplist this thing, take this thing all the way, to the top, because we can do it. We have the right people to do it, and there are some of my celebrity connections and relationships that also are going to be coming to bear, and we'll be announcing some of that really soon also. So the biggest thing is that you've got a company in BioQuest that has kept all its filings and done a great job to keep the company clean. You've got a fantastic, relevant, emerging space with artificial intelligence. So it's just the perfect marriage of the two. The ultimate value: give value to the shareholders. Let people make some money, man. Let's build and grow this thing so people can actually start achieving some of those much sought after OTC dreams.
Fair enough. So is AI Collars another company?
AI Callers is another company. It's a brand that was formed under the Tanner One World Holdings umbrella, where a lot of the development of the concepts, because remember, Tanner was focused on building trade score, market trading software, and there's some machine learning and some artificial intelligence components that came into the development of the trade score, the enhancement of the trade score, which is why AI Callers were developed, because we started moving into this conversational AI space. I don't know if you remember the last time we talked, where we talked about we were developing Maddie out to actually be some technology where you could talk to it and it would trade and place trades based on communicating, as opposed to having to go through and analyze charts and stuff like that. And one of the reasons that was important to me, I have a special needs sister, and there are a lot of things that she can't do physically because of her limitations. And there's a lot of people with those. So we really wanted to start to pioneer everyday entrepreneurial type things and make them more accessible to people with special needs, people with handicaps. So that's really how that whole evolution started and where AI Callers came from. But AI Callers is not best served by being under Tanner, because there's too much overhang. There's too many things that are wrong right now with the Tanner share structure that we will fix, but it's just better served being under the BotMakers and under the BioQuest umbrella. But Tanner shareholders will certainly benefit just the same.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking prior to the interview, something about Tanner World Holdings. Could you explain the relationship that you did have? No, you already answered that.
Yes, the
Yeah, you
relationship.
already did.
Yeah, I kind of got ahead of myself. Sorry. I get excited, man.
Well, let's talk about the BioQuest share structure.
Okay.
Now, people are looking at this. They really want to know um, if they're looking at investing in a company like this, what the share structure means, what type of leverage that gives you as a public company, and moving forward with being able to expand or acquire or to build out or to use a Reg A like this to bring in the influx of money you're going to need for the marketing and expansion of the AI chat, the BotMakers brand.
Absolutely. A couple of things. Number one, it allows us to raise inexpensive money. That's the first thing. Okay. Everybody knows in the OTC space, there are a lot of players out there that will invest into OTC companies, but usually it's arm and a leg investment. So that's the first thing. It allows us to raise cheap, not cheap, but inexpensive, non-toxic capital. The second thing it allows us to do is to acquire talents and properties and things like that with stock in the company that's restricted stock, of course, but to bring on the right people. Because listen, when I tell you that we're doing something that's going to be bigger than Facebook, I mean it. Okay. And so, but we had to attract the right players and the right talent to do that, people with a forward looking vision and that are not just looking at, hey, what can I get right now? That's today. I just had a conversation today with probably one of the most impressive young men that's developed some technology in this conversational AI space. And, you know, I was very honest with him. I told him, listen, I see you and your technology as an acquisition of BotMakers and BioQuest, and we're going to take that and just do amazing things with it. So at the end of the day, what that share structure does, it allows us to attract what we need to the company when we need it, but also how we need it. We don't need toxic lenders that are doing an 8% note that are going to do a convertible that's discount to market on. We're not doing any of that crap, okay? We're focused on raising the money that we need. And I will tell you now, based on the Reg A, I'm able to raise money from personal friends. And in a company where there's a bunch of debt and stuff like that, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. But I'm able to call up friends and say, listen, let's throw a couple of $100,000 at this thing and let's really take this thing to the moon because everything's right. But if you don't have a company with a good share structure, it makes it very hard to capitalize in the markets.
I'll tell you what, you nailed that one on the head, and that is so true. It's really challenging, but I think with the way you have it structured, it's going to be pretty clear runway.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's how fast you're going to be able to turn things around on the deals and implement what you're trying to do. So
yes.
I told everybody there was going to be something crazy happen today. I said that if you're coming on here, well, I believe maybe for the first time, but we're going to find out. Please let me know in the chats, guys. He just explained everything about Tanner, Paul. So you have this AI chat BotMakers, and I want everybody to see firsthand what that looks like. Is there any way you could bring up the chat bot and you could have a little 4 or 5 minute interview with the chat bot so they can understand how smooth it is and how natural it is to be able to speak to in any type of contextual way?
Yeah, absolutely. And after that, we'll deal with Paul. Okay. All right. So yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen here, and what I am showing you is one of our newest creations over here, and it's just fantastic. So JRC, you can see the screen with the little green bubble in the middle, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So
cool deal. So again, guys, remember I told you about how this pathway started. It was introducing conversational AI technology into trading software where people could communicate. But what we've done is that we've been able to innovate that and literally create what we call Web 3.5. And here's why I call it Web 3.5. Web 3.0 was basically the integration of more smart technology, some machine learning, artificial intelligence into it. But what we call Web 3.5 is literally changing the way people interact with the internet, because right now, JRC, as you know, if you want information, you go to a website, you look at the menu, you click on the menu, you got to find information. It is truly browsing. Okay. What we're doing is that we're introducing a concept called conversational browsing, which takes you more away from the going to a website and having to look for information, and having information that's contained in that website or about the company actually brought to you. So it's really more of a concierge type experience in browsing the web. This is where things will be very soon. And this is what we saw in our movies like Star Wars and Star Trek, where you want information. What did Dr. Spock say? Computer, tell me this. And that's the way. And that was kind of the next evolution of the internet. So, and so we're on the forefront of that because we're working and developing this technologies into what we call smart sites to actually give web browsers an option to never have to look at a website. They can just go on to a page that just looks like this. It can be decorated or done any kind of way aesthetically and talk to it and still get the same information. Just imagine this. You go on to a blank page like this and you say, Amazon, show me the show me the new line of AirPods that are out, and literally you start getting that. It's a concierge level experiences. One of my favorite watches is Hublot. So whenever I go to a Hublot store, guess what? I walk in there and I say, bring me the watches that I want to see. It's not where I've got to go and look and browse. So it's kind of the same conversation here. So what I'm going to do is that we've set up a little JR, and I'm sorry, we didn't put JRC on there, JR Stock Tips. So just imagine that and I just want you to hear the interaction between this, and then we'll go from there. Now, this was just put together just to do this demonstration. So it's not perfect, but I'm going to talk to you about why we have stock transfer agents. We have companies that are doing IPOs. We have charities. We have all kind of different organizations using this technology because it's just mind blowing. So I'm going to go ahead and start this call here. You should be able to hear it.
Hello. Thank you for connecting with JR Stock Tips. My name is Jeannie. Is there any stocks you would like to talk about, or should I just fire away with my hot picks? Hey there. What can I help you with today? Are you looking for some stock insights or market updates?
Let's start with some information on Tesla.
Are you still there? If there's anything specific you'd like to know about stocks or the market, just let me know. I'm here to help.
You know what? I don't think she's hearing me. Let's see here. You know, this worked perfect last night.
Yep.
Hey, just checking in to see if you still want to chat about stocks or...
Yeah, so let's try this. Let's restart her system here. And let's see here. But guys, see, I'm always above embarrassment. I always got a plan.
Thank you for connecting with JR Stock Tips. My name is Jeannie. Is there any stocks you would like to talk about, or should I just fire away with my hot picks?
Can you tell me something about Tesla?
Sure thing. Tesla's stock has been making waves lately. Currently, it's seeing movements due to its expansion into new markets and innovative product launches. Analysts are excited about their steady push into sustainable energy solutions and vehicle advancements. Anything specific you want to dive deeper into, like financials or recent news?
Tell me about the latest earnings per share.
All right. Tesla's latest earnings per share have been quite impressive, coming in above expectations. It shows their profitability is on the rise, thanks to strong sales and operational efficiencies. Would you like more details on any other financials or maybe some upcoming announcements?
Yeah, let's talk about upcoming announcements.
Tesla has some exciting stuff on the horizon. They're about to unveil new vehicle features and possibly updates on their autonomous driving tech. A lot of buzz around their next moves in international markets too. It's keeping investors keenly interested.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me stop here. Let me try to see how smart you are. I'm doing a radio interview right now. Can you say hello to JRC for me? Are you smart enough to do that?
Hello, JRC. Glad to be part of your show in a way. Thanks for having me through this radio interview.
Well, thank you very much. I kind of threw that in there. I didn't know if you'd answer. Thank you so much, Jeannie. Have a good day.
You're welcome. Thanks for the chat. Have an awesome day and feel free to reach out anytime.
Perfect. Okay, there. So you got a little bit of a real world scenario. So I'll let you give any comments on that, and then I'll give you just kind of a brief understanding of the potential for what you just heard. And actually, it's not potential; it's actually happening now. But let's just see if there's anything comments or questions you or your people have, and we will get to you, Paul.
I noticed a lot right off the rip. I mean, first off, I didn't hear you ask her about like how's like the chart looking, how's trading going right now? Do you think it's undervalued or overbought or oversold, or how's the stock trending at the moment? Like things that a trade certain questions that trading individuals might ask. I think that would have been really exciting to do.
Mhm.
And are you able to talk like that to it and it'll respond?
Yes, absolutely. See, here's the beauty of these agents is they are actually able to do what we call HTTP streaming. So they can literally stream and go collect new data real time during the conversation, just like we do when we talk to each other. We're getting streaming information from our brain. We're thinking about something in the past or we're recalling something. So it's the exact same thing. What you saw was about a 0.5% of her capabilities. Okay. But I just wanted you to understand the dynamics of making things easier. I don't know if I'm dating myself, but there was a time where we didn't talk to our cars like we do now. Okay. We
No,
talk to our
sir.
phone, we talk to our watch, we talk to everything. And we're getting to be more of an interactive society with technology to where really the line between technology and human interaction is blurred. So what this technology will allow us to do is create a streamlined browsing dynamic between user and website or user and stock chart or user and whatever in order to create dynamic experiences. For example, Colonial Stock Transfer, which is the biggest, if not one of the biggest stock transfer agents in the country. Well, they are now a client of ours. And the reason they're a client of ours because they needed to use this technology or wanted to use this technology once they saw it to handle inbound interactions coming from shareholders for a big IPO that they were responsible for. So it completely saved them time. It saved them money. It saved them efforts, and it saved their staff energy because this robot was actually able to talk to shareholders that have questions, answer the questions in a nice, friendly, empathetic way, the same way one of the staff would at Colonial, because they're all fantastic over there,
Yeah, they
and
are.
able to relay information. And here's the thing, also fill out forms, send text messages. So let's just say someone has a change of address form that they want to fill out. Well, Colonial now has the technology where their staff doesn't even have to get on the phone with you. You literally can either go to the website and interact, and this isn't up yet, but go to the website and interact, and it will ask, what's your name? You say your name. It will populate a form. What's your address? What's your phone number? All this stuff like that. And then it'll literally email you a PDF copy of that form all filled out. You sign it and send it in. And we're even integrating DocuSign into that. So if you just think about what I'm talking about for a paperwork intensive business like a transfer agent, this type of automations will save thousands of hours in labor because these are things that are not having to be done. And you know how it is when you have to talk to somebody on the phone, the conversation goes and starts talking about something else. So now these agents are efficient, they're streamlined, they're automated, and they will completely revolutionize the way businesses interact with their customers to save them time and money.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Now, yeah, with your permission, I would like to bring and put Pat and Cheeto back on the spot and bring them on here
Absolutely.
to ask a few questions about what's going on. Pat and Cheeto, you
Absolutely.
guys available?
Yeah, I'm here.
Now, you guys have heard everything he said. You saw the chatbot interview. What do you think? Like,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Really cool.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. And guys, I haven't even let the lid off of the big one, so I can't yet. But it gets so much better than this. I mean, it's just awesome what this technology can do.
When she created JRC, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I didn't even plan that. I just threw that in there to see because when we're testing these agents, we like to try to trip them up and get them to go off on a tangent or something. So it's really awesome technology. And if you can just kind of take a step back to when the internet first became available, there were people who didn't know that you can't do business now if you're not online. And so this is where we're at, is that it's going to get to the point where you can't do business if you're not using artificial intelligence. But see what differentiates us from everybody else, guys. We're focused on sectors that most people aren't looking at. If you go on Facebook and you'll get a million ads for these do-it-yourself, quick, dirty, in a hurry, AI that'll answer your phone and stuff like that. But what we're doing, we're creating enterprise solutions primarily for public companies and large organizations, nonprofit organizations that are doing fundraisers. They need outbound calls to be made. So we're really kind of cutting out our own niche in the space in order to maximize on what we're going to be able to bring in value to this. So all of our solutions are enterprise level. So we're not really tied down and trying to deal with the mom and pop businesses just yet. We want to focus on these enterprise solutions. But I can tell you, Colonial Stock Transfer is the only transfer agent using artificial intelligence, period. And they're using ours. So when you start talking about some of the other things that are possible in the public company space, it's just mind blowing. There's so much there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I got a secret question, because I mean, I hope you can talk about this. If you can't,
Okay.
just tell them you can't answer it. But lately, I've been hearing pop up more and more that companies are starting to do Reg CFs,
Yes.
crowdfunding. And I know when most people think of crowdfunding, there's certain names that are more synonymous with that than others.
Mm-hmm.
Are you diving into that area of the market? And can you divulge anything about it?
Yeah, well, I want everybody to log on to this website. It's called aifundraising.ai. Okay, and maybe you can put that in the chat there or something like that, or maybe I could do it. But it's aifundraising.ai. That is a really good question, and I got a really good damn answer for you, okay? So we are actually created a division of this company that's specialized in working with companies that are raising capital through Reg A or Reg CF to initiate outbound marketing calls to prospective investors, and also to handle inbound calls to answer questions about the Reg A or about the Reg CF real time, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Now, this is a game changer because, first of all, raising money under a Reg A and Reg CF is hard because you got to market that, okay? But when you're able to have a team of AI agents that are actually calling investors for you, and where are the investors coming? We actually get lists of people that are looking for investments. And that's not just lists that are already out there, but we also have a system within 5 minutes of somebody going on to a forum and saying, I'm interested in this Reg CF. They have a call coming to them from our AI talking to them about the investment opportunity. So this is another, and this isn't secret anymore. It was a couple of days ago, but we actually have been selected by WeFunder, the biggest platform for Reg CF. We have been selected by WeFunder to be added to their preferred partner list. I say partner, it's really more of a collaboration where we will be doing these campaigns for people that are raising through WeFunder, and WeFunder is bringing the customers to us. We're not having to chase them down. So, guys, I mean, come on. You know, this is big.
That's great.
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question, by the way. We're really excited.
Guys, we've heard of companies trying to raise money different ways.
Yes.
And what better way for a public company to raise than through their shareholders, like people that actually believe in the product, know about what's going on behind it, have seen their growth, and through something like WeFunder, you can get additional perks, not just buying the stock and waiting for it to go up, but you may be able to get additional perks through the company.
Absolutely.
They come in the form of products and services too.
Absolutely. And if you look at our other website, which is called aiforlandlords.com, that's aiforlandlords.com. We just secured a deal with a family out of New York. They own over 600 different housing units, and they own over 300 different apartment complexes. They're going to be integrating this AI technology to take all of the inbound maintenance requests. Okay.
That's going to save them a headache.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, think about it, because maintenance requests are being written down and they're getting lost and people don't know what's going on. All of this stuff is becoming automated, and the AI doesn't just take the information, it actually parses that data and initiates workflows. So someone calls in and say, I have a leaky faucet in my apartment. It will actually initiate all the workflow and all the paperwork to the point where that request is completed and closed. This is absolutely revolutionary technology. And the key is what we're focused on under my leadership specifically. I'm focused on carving out niches, AI for landlords.us, AI fundraising.ai, AI for law firms, where we're actually working with law firms that are doing tort cases where class action lawsuits, they've got to get all these long questionnaires filled out. We're using this AI to handle the onboarding of these clients. So the sky's the limit, and we can go anywhere with this. And we're just excited to do this. And this is why I decided to actually step out of my kind of retirement life and go into actually being the CEO of this company, because I just know where this is going, and I want to be one of the leaders in this process.
What do you think about that, Pat?
Sounds excellent. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and you have a good vehicle now in the stock with the share structure, so all good to go.
Very nice vehicle. Yeah.
Now it sounds sexy, but I'm gonna put a different layer of sexy on this with this question. I think it's the one last question that would wrap it up well. What type of margins are you able to operate with?
Wow. How do I
Are
say
you allowed
that?
to divulge that? Is that a
Let's put it this way. The margins are absolutely fantastic. Okay. They are absolutely fantastic. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. And what I can expound on a little bit is that this technology is not expensive to develop. It's not expensive to test, because it's really all becoming part of mainstream society now. But it's really just a matter of who are going to be the innovators, who's going to be the GoDaddy of the internet world, who's going to be the ones that take what's there and take it to the marketplace in such a way where they become basically a household or a brand name in that. And that's what I specialize in. Remember, guys, I took something from 0 to 3,000 Walmart stores in 3 years. I know this. Okay. I know what to do and I know how to do it. It just needed to be the right vehicle. First of all, in BioQuest, we have that. And it needed also to be the right methodology and marketing in the marketplace. I want to answer real quick one question somebody asked about what's the revenue model. The revenue model is typically, and this is what's so awesome, a low monthly fee and a couple of cents per minute for the agents. It's that simple. Okay. We don't try to reinvent the wheel and have all these fancy complex algorithms and equations. It's just what we offer to businesses: a low monthly fee, a nice a low cents per minute for the calling time for the agents, all the workflows and automations that's included in that monthly fee, and people are happy. And one of the things that I can announce now that I just thought of is we're actually going to be the first AI company that's going to roll out a model that is zero cost upfront, $1 per minute, period, end of story. No monthly rentals of the system. No. So when you talk about small businesses, a doctor's office or a lawyer or a law firm that don't have a lot of money, but they really need help with these inbound, outbound calls, this is what we're going to be offering. So guys, the future is bright. I mean, we're excited. And at some point, if you guys give me a chance to respond to Mr. Paul, because I really want to, okay. But this is just fantastic, guys. What's going on here is just amazing.
So what I wanted to know, and maybe others as well, I looked up the Reg A. It has a price of $1. Does that still stand? Or
Yes, that is the offering price. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, and sometimes people are fearful of companies going in and then re-rating and lowering the price of the Reg A. I'm just going to tell you guys, we don't have to do that. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say this could never ever would happen. You just don't do that as an executive in a company. That's stupid. But what I will tell you is that we don't have to do that. I mean, there's so many people that want in on this AI technology, trying to kind of, bastardize our own Reg A just doesn't make sense. That's just an OTC trick, and we're just not going to do that.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because obviously I have seen it in the past, and they have to reprice it often. But yeah, with this stock, it's probably different.
Yeah, we just, there's no need to do that. If you look at the share structure and where we're at now, I mean, why? And there's so much going on, and we are revenue generating. Also, this is not pre making money. We're actually revenue generating. We're actually servicing clients now.
And just to recap, I've seen a few comments, yes, from Paul, and yes from others, but TONR is going to benefit by the acquisition of BotMakers.
Yes.
Trent is taking
the acquisition
$1 million
of AI callers
shares of his personal stock in BQST,
yes,
which is not restricted. It's not something to be raised from the Reg A or anything. It's already his stock.
It's mine.
Pulling out of his pocket, sweat equity, and
Yes.
he's purchasing this, which is going to go to the bottom line for TONR, and then TONR, which eventually he'll be at the helm at, will be able to help restructure, take care of some of their debt, and put things in a more favorable looking balance sheet, so that they can turn things around for the company.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
So no regestation of bad stuff. That's just straightforward, a great plan. And I've heard quite a few, but it takes money. So I guess another question would be to give more a clear picture of that. What does 1 million shares of BQST look like in value?
Well, look at the stock price.
I know, but follow my thing. What did it close at today? What was the last trade at?
I do not know, and so what? Can somebody look
That'd
at
be
that?
for one of the guys. Hold on.
Yeah.
95 cents, but obviously it has a huge spread right now because it's so thin. Because all the time, if the DTC number is this low, obviously there is a wide spread. It's gonna get better if a few of the Reg A shares maybe trickle in over time, and that's not even a bad thing, I guess. I mean, if you have 500,000 DTC, is still really good.
Right.
Right now the spread is large, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to remember, guys, I mean, somebody has to sell some stock, I mean, in order to get the liquidity going. So,
right.
I think OTC people, and this is one of the reasons why I really, really, really wanted to go ahead and step up and take over as COO and be a CEO, because sometimes, you just got to talk to people and put all the bull crap aside, and let's just have a real conversation, because that's the problem in the OTC space is people want information every day. If the shareholders want a press release every 5 seconds, they want a press release.
Can't do it.
But you can't do it. You just can't, and you're stupid if you try to do it. So what we'll be bringing into this space also is that BioQuest is going to be very active on social media. Personally, I'm going to be very active on social media. Now, I'm not going to give out information that can't be disclosed or anything like that. I'm not going to get into any of that, but we're going to be very active in communicating. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I know just in consulting for Tanner is, listen, they got so much going on there. They have to be very cautious about when they put out anything, when they say anything. Any company should be. And you just have to do that. But at the end of the day, I do understand the value of communicating with shareholders, but also, the shareholders need to understand the value in having a damn good leader, okay, of the company that may not have time for us to cater to every little whim and want that you have. We've got to focus on building the brand. If you don't believe in this after seeing this interview, then you just don't get it, okay? Period, end of story. And you don't want to get it. So move on, all right? But everybody who wants to take a part in something big, who wants to be a little bit of a dreamer and see a future here, listen, we can worry about the past all we want. Okay, go join some other club. Okay, right now we're going to focus on the future and we're going to build this thing and make this thing work. It's not going to be a perfect road. There's going to be some bumps in the road. There have been some just to get to this point, but we're here and we're here to stay, and we're going to do this big. We're not swinging for singles and doubles. We're swinging for the fence.
Well said. Now, did you want to have a moment to address Paul's portfolio?
I do, and I'm saying this, and I don't do this, guys, and so give me a little bit of latitude here, and I won't take a long time to do this. But here's the deal: if you're not in the chair, just your opinion doesn't matter. Period. End of story. You can think what you want to think. You can go online. You can cry. You can bitch. You can moan and complain about how horrible everything are. But there's a reason why we're in the chair and you're not. Paul, I'm in the chair now for BQST and when I take over Tonner. And what I'm telling you now, and I want to say this to every single shareholder so you get this clearly. We know about the games, Paul, of you contacting our law firm and pretending that there's this big class action lawsuit and all this fraud that you've committed. We know who you are, and we're coming, buddy. And bottom line, the buck stops here. And I'm letting you know that personal calls to a CEO's cell phone, first of all, it's really tacky and shitty to do that to a woman. But bottom line, do what you got to do. I'm here. I'm the boss. The decision will be at my desk. And I suggest you just be an unhappy shareholder and move on, or you get on the train because there's room for you also, because you obviously have money in this and you want to win. I don't like you, but I do want you to win. So either get off the train and go do something else or stay on this ride because we're going. So anyway, that's my piece. I've said what I need to say, but I do have a problem with the way shareholders try to treat executives and people in these companies that are trying to make things happen, and they can't put out a press release. Just stop with the games, guys, because nobody has time for them, and nobody's going to give any energy to that. And I won't give any more energy to this either. But I do think it's important when somebody thinks they can pick on a woman, why don't you try picking on somebody who will pick back? That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are investing in OTC market companies. So you got to know what you own. You got to do your own due diligence. And when it comes down to pulling the trigger on stock, you got to make a big boy decision. And you got to know whatever you invest, potentially you can lose 100% of. That's why it's so important on our show to help give you as much information as we can on how to do proper due diligence, what questions to ask, and what to go after. That sets you up for the best possibility of success. Does it guarantee anything? No. We're not licensed professionals. We're not financial planners. And even they can't give you that type of information, because ultimately it comes down to market sentiment and the turns of the tide and timing. Like, there's so many things that go into it. It's impossible to predict something like that. So you just got to hedge your investment by doing as much research as possible, knowing the trends in the market. And I believe right now there's a huge trend that's going to ride for a long time on AI. And everybody sees that. Everything's moving towards that. And if this has the adaptability in the market to help small businesses, middle-sized businesses, real estate agencies, transfer, like any number of companies, property managers, you name it, to have a more constructive workflow, an organized communication system with their customers, and this responsive, clear, it's going to be a game changer, especially if they can do it without spending $1 million, you know, and they don't have time to go invent an AI bot. They don't have time to go and figure this out. They've got this here right now, and a great opportunity to move forward with it. So guys, do your due diligence by all means, find out everything you can. And if you have more questions, right here at the bottom, it says, follow our guest at BioQuest Corp. That's their Twitter handle. Go follow the account. And you can DM the company so that they have time to respond to you. But I'm very sure that me and Trent are going to be doing a lot more business here in the future and providing some of those really excellent, notice I said excellent, shareholder questions, and doing video responses on them so that you guys can have due diligence information at your fingertips on YouTube and on X. And that's what we're here for.
Now, JRC, does that mean we can announce kind of what happened last night? We can talk about that.
Oh man, you gotta. All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
So guys, listen. And I would not have wanted to do this with anybody else. This is absolutely, if we were going to start in this space, JRC is where we wanted to start with. So we have we had a conversation last night after JRC heard this technology. And so we are now going to make our technology a part of the JRC team with a dynamic where we're going to build together. So the value that we're getting with this exposure for this technology, for all the work that JRC has done since 2009, I think he said, he's done a fantastic job. But guess what? We have technology that can help him expand the reach much farther and much faster, where his time becomes now being creative and not actually having to sit in front of a camera or sit in front of a microphone and do some of the amazing work he's done. So now this AI technology from BotMakers is going to be a part of JRC, and I am absolutely ecstatic about that. Because let me tell you guys, and okay, Paul, this is for you too. He wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have our shit together. That's just bottom line. Okay, so let's just call it what it is. Okay, but JRC, I really do want you to know that I know what it means to be a pioneer. I know what innovators and trendsetters look like, and you are absolutely one of them. You got some wannabes out there who are mad that they're not you, but guess what? It is what it is. But you are absolutely doing some amazing things, and we're thrilled to be able to bring this technology to JRC Stock Talk and continue to grow and build that so your listeners and everybody else can continue to be exposed to this emerging tech. Because guess what? There is no AI company out there that's even thought about this space. This is why JRC and I had the conversation we did last night. So absolutely kudos to you guys also. Thank you.
Just to give y'all a little tiny glimpse at what that might look like, we're going to be going through market data, me, Pat, Shido, and we're going to come up with companies that we believe have really strong potential. We're following, and we're going to put up a little bit of information on that company and do short segmented podcasts that post during trading hours throughout the week. So we're still going to have our live shows. We're still going to be on here talking to you in person, but we're also going to be spotlighting other smaller other companies individually in short segments so you can pop up, get some due diligence on, add it to your watch list, and do what you do best, which is trade and make money, baby. And we're just here to support that. So we'll try to put a spotlight on things that have meat, have potential, and try to pull away some of the attraction that people have had on stocks that maybe don't.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. This is fantastic, guys. I mean, it's just so exciting. And I told you last night, JRC, that one of my things I believe in is affirmations and lifting people up. Okay, what you guys are doing is so necessary, because we as executives in these companies, we can't communicate all the time. We don't have time, and people don't understand is that, well, I invested in their company. Why can't they talk to me? Why didn't they keep this promise? Why didn't that happen? Guess what? Things happen, guys. But you guys are always out there kind of being the middle ground between the shareholders and the companies, and helping sometimes clear some of that smoke out of the way that creates negative feelings, or, makes people not want to invest or invest for the wrong reason. So I really do want to recognize you guys and thank you so much for what you're doing. I've been on your show 3 times now, and I'll continue to come back. I love this platform. It's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Great.
All right, guys, we are going to transition now into the next segment where we break down today's market data, today's trending stocks, and today's busts. And it all happens right here on JRC Stocks. Trent, please, everybody that's watching right now, please share this episode with your friends. DM them, talk to them about it, because I want you to ask questions. Ask other people that trade with you what technology and the ability it has to make a difference in the market. That really is a telling sign. And I think that the more questions, the more information you get, it'll be able to help you arrive at a decision. And that's, do I buy or do I not buy stock?
Yes.
Guys, thanks for joining us. Now we're going to transition here. Trent, is there any last things you want to say to the shareholders or investors before we do?
I want to say to you guys, look, one of the things I think is unique when you have an executive in a company that is really willing to hear you. Okay. I hear you. Okay. I've been on both sides. I've been on all sides of this equation. I've been a shareholder. I've been an executive. I've been all that. Okay. But what I'm telling you now is that some of the biggest mistakes happen because people lose the ability to believe. And if you are one of those people who want to see something big happen, you want to see growth. First of all, I have a family. I could give those million shares to my daughters. There's a lot that I could do with that, but I believe in what everybody believed in so long ago. I believe in now, but not only do I believe it, I'm really, really good at what I do. My team is really, really good at what they do. And we've got this. We've got this technology, and we're going to take that. And every day we hear just what JRC last night. This is amazing. It's mind-blowing. I've got to have it. Let's do this. So we're going to do this thing, okay? So just be patient. Be calm. I know some people were asking about timelines. The timelines are now. Everything I'm talking about, we're doing now. So you're going to continue to hear more and see more out of this. But again, do your due diligence. If this isn't for you, don't get in. If it is for you, get in. And if you don't like it, get out. I mean, that's all we can tell you. But at the end of the day, we're going to continue to move this thing forward. And I'm absolutely thrilled that now we're going to be able to do it with awesome people like JRC and his team.
Thank you, Trent. It says a lot. Guys, if you're watching, again, share it, DM people, ask them questions, do some more due diligence on BQST, TRTONR shareholders. Follow what's going on, because I know it doesn't happen in the twinkling of an eye or tomorrow, but there is a acquisition taking place.
Yes.
And you will be updated. Publicly available information is brought to you directly through press release and financial filings. Make sure you stay tuned for that. I believe heavily that Trent's a man of his word, and you'll be able to see that sometime in the near future. And then you'll be able to tell exactly how that's going to benefit and relate to you guys, and what it'll mean for TONR being able to turn around.
Absolutely.
So guys, without much further ado, we are going to transition now. Trent, thank you very much,
thank
sir.
You so much
for being on
Thank
here.
you.
Have a good day.
Now,
Nice meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I'll talk to you after the show.
Sounds good, buddy. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye. Wow,
right.
guys. Interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. I can't
Pretty
wait to
good.
talk to you both about this later too, because I think it's really going to expand the reach we have in the market. Because I know Shido, he's already up at what, 12 o'clock at night right now?
Yeah, 11:30. Yeah.
Okay, 11:30, half past. And we'll be able to have a formula of like 5 certain criteria we want to know about a company, the company itself, and most recent news. And the chat podcast, it'll look attractive. Like, it's not what he showed you with the little green squiggly thing. It's actually a live, attractive looking person. We can have it be anything we want. Yesterday, he showed me a attractive Asian lady, and I was like, wow, that's cool. And she was talking. There was no, you couldn't tell it was an AI person talking. Like, she had smooth conversation. Like, she even had some, her intonation and the way she said things, it had character to it. And she's able to talk about the company, how to get a hold of them, what their stock symbol is, the 5 criteria, and then talk about the most recent news in depth, not just like read off the headline, but actually have a little conversation about it. So we can have short segments go out like that on a daily basis on individual stocks, and we can compile a list of winners of stocks that we believe, because we can't guarantee anything, but that we believe are really worth looking at, so we can bring attention to some of the more nice stocks in the OTC market. Because frankly, guys, we all need some winners. Trump's in, not talking about who you voted for, but we all know what's good for the economy anyways. And we saw what happened the day after, and up till now, stocks are booming. I mean, PLTR, whoo, I'm glad I bought that thing down there in 30s. Man, there's a lot of positive things happening in the market. Even my old stock GMGI is booming. It went from like $2.20 to over $3 today, and it's had a little bit
It
of,
was it 3? Yeah.
yeah, and it's going to go back up. Like, I think it's just a little consolidation, but it belongs somewhere around 5 or 6. So we'll see what happens.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Pat, I imagine you're already knee deep in getting the stocks ready to look at, right?
You bet. Yeah, just starting to
Ooh.
pull up a few. And now, do you have a few on your mind? I know you had a few last time.
Well, I just pull up OTC markets and already went through the similar thing we did. I would love for you to pull up GMGI because I think that the move over the last few days, there's been insider buying. It's a low price stock, and I think it's got some tremendous oomph behind it that's happening right now that the people want to know about. Ultimately, they purchased Meridian Bet, big company, expanded them into 12 countries, and Meridian Bets has two partners, one of which is a silent partner. He's like that. I don't want to use that word. He's like, I got the money, but I don't want my face up there. Well, that's the one that's been in the market buying stock. He's been buying 25, 30,000 shares a day, filing Form 4s. He's, I believe, over 100,000 shares in buying so far. And I don't think he's anywhere near done yet. And that's an insider. And the
Yeah,
reason he's
big time.
doing it is because not only the growth of the company, the expansion of the company, and all of their products in the market and the segments they're in, and they've integrated with each other. Like GMGI has some amazing technology that can help client retention and lower cost of acquisition for the gambling people. So Meridian Bet's applying that technology to their already working well business. Both companies are profitable. Now the profitability is going to be able to increase for Meridian Bet. The revenue on both sides is going to be able to increase, and the market share for both definitely did that as well. Now they're going to be looking at probably making some more acquisitions that align with what they're doing to continue to expand. I mean, I think they're going to be a big market mover here in the not so distant future. But right now they're just a small cap trying to make some noise.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't I do a screen share with you guys to show you some of the stuff that's going on, and then Shido, I'd love to hear what you're looking at as well.
Yeah,
we know you're looking at a lot.
Yeah. We have this ALDS. I mean, I think
Love that.
I
I
don't
just
know.
put up the screen there. There we
You
go.
entered it as well. That's one that I find really interesting based on all the numbers and the share structure and everything. Yeah.
A great setup on the DTC, and they had the news come out today, right at open, that they're entering this binding agreement for a reverse merger, which would roll in an asset base of 150 million, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
That's a big leap.
Yeah, that's a big leap. And so I like that it's binding. That's nice. It's not just a non-binding LOI. I love the asset value. The setup's excellent. It was a little move today. It looked like it was a big move just because it was down big yesterday.
Which is interesting because you don't see that too often, right? I mean, like it's basically the reverse of a preload. Somebody dumped like 500,000 shares yesterday, really cheap, one day before they bring up that news. That's really strange.
Well, I don't think it's strange. I mean, like, because we're seeing that happen a lot with these Chinese ones too. Like, because they don't want to get into doing any type of unregistered stuff. You know what I mean? And so I feel like on a lot of these, they're like, hey, get on the bid tomorrow at 12. You know what I mean? And like, that's how they're doing it now.
Yeah.
Because that, like, it feels like you see these sometimes now, and it strikes me as that's how they're doing it. So, I mean, I'm guessing maybe an insider got a big hit there because there's been like no volume since May.
Yeah, that's the thing. You think it was just a wash because otherwise somebody had to sell it, right? But if
Right.
it's just, I guess you're talking about like some insider washing yesterday.
Because that to me is like, because we've seen this strategy being used, on the Chinese
on
one.
some of the micro floats.
Yeah, and I feel like that they're doing it that way because because you think about all these guys that have gotten arrested for being unregistered broker dealers. You know what I mean? And so it seems to me like maybe this is the way they're doing it now. I couldn't say for sure, but on some of them it felt that way, or it's just a very unlucky seller. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, exactly. I still prefer this instead of like somebody bought like 500,000 shares yesterday like crazy, and with a huge obvious front load, I would feel worse than seeing this.
Yeah, this isn't all bad. It was a week ago and they bided their time, and I wouldn't necessarily say they dumped into it either.
It still has a trend line. I mean,
Yeah.
like when you add trend lines to it, it's still going up, even though somebody dumped. We don't know what their condition was or situation, but it's obviously moving in the right direction, like it did back in August, September. It started to do it.
Yeah, hopefully it continues. I mean, it is an interesting merger and an interesting asset. There it is there. So you can see it's kind of squeaking out of that downtrend. But I just, I hope that it catches on, and I hope that the company, gives it some room to breathe. I mean, that's really the big thing, because it's a nice asset, and it's something people can anticipate, and I guess we'll see what comes. But the start of next year isn't far away now, so I guess we'll see, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's I guess it's still 2 months away, but I mean, you know how OTC traders are these days, but obviously it's still only a LOI. It's a binding one, but still only a LOI. But yeah, we will see. But if this dips again, it might be an interesting buy low candidate for the potential deal in January, I guess.
For sure. I guess we'll see. So there's that one. I thought that was pretty good. GPLS, they put out some news that they were getting close to doing their deal at the end of the year. Initially, they had that kind of like 3-4 week mark on it, and I think that's part of the reason it got sold today is that CEO had posted that they're kind of shooting for the end of the year, which isn't really the end of the world, but a little bit of a sell-off today. And I think for people, who'd been in it for a month now, they were like, okay, well, maybe I'll.
Well, I want to talk about that briefly. So I'm going to intro right here. Next week's show, it got pushed off because of all the crazy hype for the elections and what transpired. Next week's show was with AZRH. AZRH, Josh Cohen, is going to be on our show, and another great share structure, but it's directly connected to GPLS and to ZHUD. These are all stocks people have been talking about. I fully expect that we could see GPLS, ZHUD, and AZRH become one single company and list.
But
that's a mind-blowing, crazy statement.
If you have Cohen on the show, I didn't know that. That's really
Josh Cohen.
Yeah.
Right here, folks. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be hot. I mean, this guy is hot to trot. He's got a huge following on Instagram. He's got a lot of buzz going everywhere but Twitter or X, which is where we're at. And you guys have a chance to find out about this before it's cannibalized. I mean, honestly, you guys tell them more about the stock structure and how these deals have been going. But I've heard you guys both are following and have followed and been part of ZHUD. And the same with GPLS and AZRH. And now we'll get the skinny on what's going on directly from the horse's mouth, and hopefully look to get a long-term deal with him moving forward into the future, so we can get more exposure on Twitter for the great things he's doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting situation. I'm very keen to hear, because like as far as I'm concerned right now, I mean there's definitely if you think about that AZRH move and even ZHUD to a degree, I mean this is the hottest stuff out right now. And
I like it because these guys have been putting in effort lately. We don't see that too much anymore in the OTC, and they have reasonable tickers, like, and some of them are outright really good from share structure point. So it's not like some, they're putting in effort in order to dilute it to death, because these guys put in effort into really good share structure deals. And it's really interesting.
Very nice to see. I'm going to be looking forward to hearing from them. So that's GPLS. Anyways, it's been a long wait, and I guess we'll see what he comes up with. But it's still a stunning setup, and would love to see it level up at some point. I got a few more off the list here. I don't know what's going on with this really. Have you followed this at all? I don't usually enjoy those QXs much.
Yeah, I don't know the ticker. I don't do much QX. I don't even follow much QX stuff. No,
this
I don't.
Is tough. This is tough stuff, man. Oy.
Yeah, but that green, it's some of the largest volume they've seen in forever.
Yeah. I see.
What's the news? What's the filing?
They're a delister.
Oh, they are
delisted. So they delisted the QX.
Came off the big board, yeah.
Okay. Then
it's not as bad as getting dumped on pink sheets.
Okay.
Yeah. You got a seller here. So yeah, when you look at those SC13Gs and you see these are all zeros, if it's amended, then you can assume it's a seller. Someone sold all their shares. And it looks like this Carlin Energy sold out. So not much in terms of updates from them. Delisted in August. And that's it. So, I just a ton of resistance there. That's tough. That's tough business. Not a bad setup, but tough. Tough to just take the leap on something like that. You know what I mean?
It has had a good bounce now from the endless sell-off, I guess. From the
more like a tech bounce. Boy, I haven't seen this name in a long time, eh?
Barrel Energy.
Jeez Louise. There used to be a barrel cult that was unlike any other.
Yeah, this one has been brutal over the last 2 years.
Man, and we have not hearing anything from them, eh?
And the sister company, the same on the stock price performance. What was it called? Yeah.
Let's take a look.
CDSG, I think they filed like 3 times the 1012G and had to withdraw it 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC was probably like, sure. Yeah,
3 times. 3 times.
Barrel, small movement, not a lot going on. ABIT's been a hell of a move. And, I got to say, as far as OTCs go, like, I'm going to tell you what, like most of the Bitcoin stocks on the OTC may as well be inverse Bitcoin. They're so bad. Like they're actually moving the opposite direction of Bitcoin down. Most of them, like it's just shocking how bad some of these are. And like if you put them head to head with Bitcoin, you should have bought Bitcoin, just whole ass Bitcoins, because like this is nonsense how these are performing. But finally one of them moved in a bit. Yeah. And it was a tough one for me to watch because like the entire time Bitcoin's been moving, I've been buying a bit and then getting dumped on and stopped out. Like for what, a year and a half, this has been happening to me. And finally it starts getting some volume the other day and I was like, it could be okay, but boy, I'm tired of getting dumped on. And then finally they did it.
Yeah, they did it finally. Yeah.
There's another one. these guys are a Bitcoin miner.
Yeah, I bought some of this today, a few, just because of the A-bit move. So I thought like maybe they're gonna do it to this one as well, because it's a really good share stock.
Oh, it's a good one. You know, and it's a cease trade for me.
Oh,
I know.
this one as well.
Yeah. Help.
So bad.
But you know, you get to thinking about, like, if they're going to buy some Bitcoin miners, I mean, they could rip this, but it's up to these guys to speak up. And we haven't heard from them for quite some, well, you know, we heard from them in September. But boy, you get in position there with all these Bitcoin miners on the move, and look out, man. That's a really good one. What's the other one? It's B. Yeah. Has this moved at all?
BMNR.
E what?
Down it moved. BMNR.
Yeah, another QX.
Man, oh man. The interesting story has been Solana. And, you know, Solana's been absolutely ripping and really becoming the next cryptocurrency. And that's why this Sol Strategies is such an interesting stock. Because like they're becoming like the micro strategy of Solana.
Yeah, they had a huge move lately.
And more. It's back at it. Like, it's not a ton, it's 10%, whatever, but they're back at it. And they keep buying more and more Solana. And I gotta advise, I don't know if anyone that owns a shell ever watches this, or like, because they did not capitalize on AI on the OTC. Like, they could have done so much with AI and AI reverse mergers. They didn't do enough. You know what I mean? Like, thankfully we saw a good one today. But boy, for some of these empty shells to start going the direction of buying Solana and becoming like a Solana bank or Solana, you know what I mean? Like, they could kill it, man. And like,
yeah,
these
because
guys,
they could, because it has a widespread appeal now with all the Solana meme coins and stuff. And yeah,
huge appeal. I mean, like, if I had an empty shell, I'd say, listen, my business is buying Solana, and I'm buying all the Solana I can, and I'm going to become the micro strategy of Solana. These guys prove the point, but they're Canadian and people don't love the foreign stocks as much. I mean, if someone had a decent shell where they said, I'm going to start buying Solana on my shell and I'm going to be the micro strategy of Solana, they got it made in the shade. Made in the shade. So anyways, there's that.
How's the volume looking on Solana network right now?
It's
I'm talking about, you know, like the
meme coins.
Yeah.
Oh, on the DEX, I mean, it's just, look at this.
Like, how much money's flowing through it?
Oh boy, I'll tell you, it's a lot now.
Let's do a side by side to OTC market so we can all cry in our Wheaties.
3.7 billion, all into memes and stuff.
Yeah. So what was OTC markets volume today?
OTC markets was 2.5 billion, but it was all into this type of stuff, foreign ADRs. So there's your
not
dollar
quite the
volume.
same thing.
No, Fannie, and then a bunch of Fannie and Freddie stuff, because those are kind of Trump stocks. So, you know, I mean, it goes to show that, like, if someone wanted that crossover appeal on their OTC shell, you know, you could start saying, I'm buying Solana and our company's doing Solana, and you'd probably kill it. You'd probably kill it.
So if you guys follow DJT at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pull that one up. That's out of maybe not off topic, but that move, man, I had so many people talking to me right near the top of that green candle.
Yeah.
Saying, man, I gotta sell out all of the shares I have in this and buy DJT. And now it's starting to correct a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, that was the trade. The lead up was the trade, and having the guts to believe that he'd win was the trade, and now they're all cashing in. So it'll probably need to chill out for a little bit, but what a win. I mean, and I gotta say, like, the amount of, like, I don't even want to get into the politics of it because people get too triggered, but the amount of bullshit that came from these news outlets that were saying that it you know, he was probably going to lose, and look at the map and the polls. Like, at some point, do these companies ever look in the mirror and say, you know what, there's a reason that there's a trust issue here with us? You know what I mean? Because, like, if you were to watch the news, like, I knew older people that watched only, you know, mainstream news and cable TV, and as far as they were concerned, there was no chance he was going to win.
Yep.
And
all
to
the
win
polls,
the popular vote,
all the numbers said that Kamala was winning and Trump would. Yeah.
yeah, not only the popular vote, but all of the swing states.
Yep.
All
and
of
that's
them.
not what happened.
Yeah, you know, and so it's just shocking. But anyways,
So
I mean,
I'd like to follow DJT as a group and see, like, if we can call where we think the bottom is and see if it runs again, because I think there's a good chance.
the question becomes one of, now that he's president, how much time and energy is going to get put into growing this? You know what I mean?
Well, he's got
correct me if,
staff, so it doesn't have to be him.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the numbers are awful, right? In this
Yes,
one,
they are bad.
Yeah.
And
So
he
far,
pretty
at
much,
least.
when he went back to Twitter, and thank goodness he did, if because I think it helped his campaign a lot and dealing with Elon and everything like that. But when he went back to Twitter, I mean, that pretty much said everything you need to know about Truth Social. You know, that
Yeah, I mean,
it's not
9
impactful.
months they reported like 140 million loss from operations. So
Yeah.
What was that from? Like all the money they put into marketing it?
Well, we can see here. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so bad, but it's the numbers are really bad, and he might, I don't know if he starts to dilute it now and get something out of it. You know, I have a couple of puts right now for DJT.
Yeah.
I don't know how low it will go, but I think it might go a lot lower than it is.
Are you in the green on it right now?
Well, it looks like
Yeah,
it looks like it's all SG&A.
I'm in the green.
Salaries and that looks like where all the loss is. So
Wow.
I mean, they're taking care of their people by the looks of it. And look at this. Look at the change in outstanding shares, more than a double year over year.
Yeah, so fundamentally, this isn't
not a good investment opportunity.
Doesn't have a good stand, but obviously they can still get it up to 50 again. I mean, if his followers keep buying or whatever. But
oh yeah,
yeah, I just bought a tiny bit of puts, like when it was, I don't know where it was, like 35 or 38 or something, just to see what it.
Well, you're crushing it right now.
Yeah, but it's tiny, you know, it's not.
Yeah. It's so hard with options. So anyways, that's the word though. I mean, if anyone has a shell here and wants to make a business, just say, listen, you don't need to have some bum come in and buy it and dump all over it. Just become a Solana buying company, like, because they laughed at MicroStrategy back in the day when they were buying all that Bitcoin. They said it's not even a real business, and they just became the Bitcoin bank. And you know, take a look. I mean, it's just, you know, someone could do that with an OTC. if they want.
Yeah, as long as Solana keeps going up, for sure. I mean,
yeah, and I have a feeling that it's never going away now because if you compare it with Ethereum, because like people don't want to use Ethereum because it costs so much to do a transaction. It's just not that good.
Yes, it's horrible. And I thought Polygon was better. Yes, better, but still egregious.
I mean, look at this. Look at this breaking out of this channel and this thing just breaking down. I mean, oh, this is Bitcoin. Sorry, but Solana looks the same. You know, it's not performing, and
I wouldn't be.
Think that's why they like Solana.
Surprised to see the 300. I wouldn't. I mean,
no, I wouldn't be surprised to see
300.
300. No.
See what at 300?
Solana,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible, for sure.
For sure. So there's that. CRCW is another Bitcoin miner, but mostly they're just mining for shares to sell. They had another AS raise, another offering, and and now this is supposed to look like a move to me, and I got to be honest, it's not. It's
looks pretty flat.
This one is so tough.
It's really they've just trashed it, and so I'm gonna pass. UNQ, what a weird situation here, man.
I don't know what they do. I mean, that's it. This is all behind the curtain.
Yes.
Because like the last 18 months, nobody even looked at that. Nobody was interested. They always, even when they put up like $1 billion in revenues, you remember? Nobody cared.
Every time I bought it, they would dump on it, and now they're SEC delinquent and moving, and I don't get it. Like, I agree with you. It's all behind the curtain. This is all insider stuff.
They also had the supposed SPAC deal, which fell through as well.
Yeah.
Like so often, I still don't understand why so many planned SPAC deals with OTC companies fall through. I mean, almost like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 get canceled.
I'm trying to think about one that even made it. I don't think.
Yeah, there is 1 or 2. I remember,
maybe a
most,
couple. Jeez Louise.
Most got canceled.
Yeah. So I don't know how to buy this because it's SEC delinquent. My assumption is that they're just drumming up business to get shares out the door with volume and price action before it goes gray, because they don't intend to file. But
you think so? They don't intend? They have, let me check. They have until end of November.
No.
So
clock's ticking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clock's ticking on that. So I guess we'll see. Outside of that, the volume has been low. There was this reverse merger or change of control. We don't know what the merger is yet with Third Bench, which is formerly known as NECA, which might make a few people's hair stand up on the back of their neck.
NECA?
Yeah, that's the one.
I haven't heard that name in a while, but it's very familiar.
Yeah.
I believe I know the owners of NECA.
Yeah, so they changed after I don't even know how many splits, so many. But this thing went to 0. They did a split and it's gone to 0. But I wouldn't say on a ton of shares. Like, it's not a bad looking trip, I guess. And so they added a new CEO today. And the guy's name is John Bianco, who I believe is the Rennie guy.
RENI?
Yeah, at least the Rennie, JRC, you know Rennie. I mean, they were with you.
Yeah.
They, at least their CEO has that name. I don't know if it's the same guy.
Is it definitely the same guy? It's tough to say, but I mean there it is. So yeah, my gut.
Because on the profiling on Rennie, he calls himself Jonathan Charles Bianco.
Right.
And he doesn't call him like this in the 8K. So
Yeah, but we had Mark Pendus on when we did the show.
Right.
oh, okay. Mark Pindus. Okay, that's the CFO.
Didn't we?
Yeah. It's the CFO.
I think I'm right
Well,
about that.
Interestingly, they've added a new CEO by the name of John Bianco. And
Yeah.
And is it the Rennie guy? You know, we can't be sure. I'm sure someone will reach out and ask. But it seems like it's the Rennie guy. And if that's the case, it'll be interesting to hear if he has some plans for it or what he's going to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad trip. I mean, if there's a good plan there, it's not a bad trip.
If you look at it currently, I mean, it's a really good. It looks awesome. The situation, the share structure, and everything. The issue with this is that it's a company that has a good amount of nodes with some bad players in the background, canoes and stuff. So you gotta watch it. But
Jeff Knaus.
right now it's looking good, obviously.
Yeah, because that's the trouble. It's such a dirty dog of a shell.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, could you even get all the skeletons out of the closet? I don't know.
I still don't get why this John Bianco is not buying another shell. I mean, there is so many good shells out there.
Oh, dude, like, I mean,
why you buy this one?
Well, I mean, I get, you know, I'm sure it's exactly the reasons that we just said. Like, I mean, you got guys who, you know, but like, look at this. You know, they're not doing anything with this. Look at this. I mean, why don't these guys say they're buying Solana? Just wake up one day and say, hey, we're buying Solana. It'd be game over. It'd be a dime.
I mean, Pat, we can buy a shell. I mean,
well, show me a shell, you know what I mean? And then, I mean, I'll, you know, because it's crazy. But so I don't know why THBD is the choice, but if he comes in and cleans it up and actually has an impact on whatever skeletons are in that closet, it on paper, it's a very good trip right now.
Yeah. So, and with the volume today, even if the node guys watch closely, but this can be at like trip 8 or dub 1 in a heartbeat with the volume today.
So it's in the August 20th PR from Rennie. So it is them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Well, I guess stock trips. We'll see if these guys can
Rennie's
do something with it.
What's their stock structure look like again?
Who? Third bench.
RENI.
RENI
already on their page.
It's a great setup, and
yeah.
Always been a good,
you know,
so I bet you. I wonder if there's going to be some play.
It feels like, but
I wonder if there's going to be some play between the two.
Well, that's the question. We'll check on the PR here, but
does Rennie have something they can spin out? I think I remember him talking about that.
There it is.
That August 20 PR that Stock Trips mentioned, I cannot find that one on OTC Markets.
I got it. It's a third bench PR, not a Rennie PR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here it is. I got it up on the screen. So it is. It's the Rennie guys.
Okay.
So we'll see. I can't believe it's taken this long
to our interview with him on RENI. He talked about making some acquisitions with RENI and his growth strategy. And I believe part of that conversation involved spinning out some things out of RENI.
Well, I'll tell you what. So they did have a small move after that PR came out, but then obviously you would have regretted buying it.
I didn't even know about that PR because this is not one I follow. THB.
No, and this is also a cease trade for me. I can't buy this either.
Yeah, that's ugly. I mean,
I know. So I never look at the news on it, but listen, I mean, if these guys can clean it up, could be okay. I don't know. I mean, it is a nasty shell, I'll tell you that. But if they can clean it up, then I guess that's pretty cool.
Oh, if history says anything, they did a great job working with Ari and I.
yeah,
They
I
did.
think he's a great guy. I mean, he did okay with Ari and I, and no dumping and
No, he's just a victim of the market circumstance right now, I think, because it's not been a bad setup, and he's not been rude with it at all. It's just getting volume and a higher price security right now that isn't foreign driven volume is very tough.
Yeah, very tough.
Very tough. So that's kind of what I've been seeing. Anything else kind of on your mind? I know that CLNV's kind of been on the move a little bit.
Yeah, they finally got that 15 million financing. I mean, they just had a Spaces parallel to us now, but it's finished now. So they finally got that financing, and hopefully the extreme dilution is, I mean, extreme, but it's not big numbers, but you know how it is. It was enough to bring it down substantially. Is finished, hopefully, with this financing. We will see. That's the question going forward, right?
Yeah.
What was that ticker? THB what?
THBD.
Okay.
I didn't even see that candle. What kind of candle is this?
That's
it's a foretelling candle.
I didn't see that.
It's huge.
Yeah. It's huge.
So we'll see. I mean, I hope it works out. I feel like we've been here a lot of times with CLNV now.
We have, and I think the argument is from them that we have been here a couple of times because they couldn't get that financing done yet, so they had to bridge finance it with the note guys,
because like I'm seeing the price action to volume ratio with every single one of these things get worse and worse and worse. Like the amount of volume it's taking to move it. So here's hoping that it's true.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get, what was this? I get Fless vibes sometimes.
Yeah.
And Fless is not looking pretty.
Yeah, but this one was really special, Fless. I mean, wow. I mean, that said, if you played it from the lows, I mean, it was a really good move.
It was a nice ripper, yeah.
But I know what you mean. Obviously, I mean, it was supposed to be so much more, I
think it's another case of people that came alongside of him and bent his ear and got him all dragged into their agenda, and they weren't the best option for the company.
Yeah, he got played. You could tell he didn't know even what was happening.
I do think so.
Yeah.
Even it might be naive to think so, but I really think that this guy got played. I mean, I talked to him a couple of times about that node stuff, and he just didn't have much experience with this stuff. So
no.
And it got out of control.
It's make or break it for these OTC companies if they listen to the wrong person. I mean, and there's so many people coming at you from every corner trying to give you advice and tell you they know all these great things and they have all these great connections, but the hidden agenda will kill you.
That's the thing.
Because they have one of the biggest plays in this stupid little arena, I would say, is they get fees for connecting them with other people. So they'll connect them to their funding guy. Their funding guy is kicking them down money for putting them in. So they don't really care what happens to them. They just want to fill a pipeline, get the finder's fee, and keep on going after other companies to do it. Once they get hooked in with the funding guy has them by the balls.
There's
and then
Eric
he'll
there.
do a big tranche thing and say, oh, you need more money. Well, the terms are going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a little bit less this time. And they keep on going and going because they think once they have a funder on the hook, then they're set. But they don't realize they're just falling into a pit.
Yeah, and this guy, they were probably like, listen, just operate this company, do your thing, jump out there. We got all this taken care of behind the scenes. Do what you do. Operate this company, and he got just a total patsy.
Yeah. And
You
these
know,
guys,
their
they
classic
listen.
OTC shit show, he says. Yeah, it is.
They take and they have to listen. I mean, they have to take everything they can get because they are desperate,
Yeah.
with no other financing options, and I can see that some of them get played. Not everybody is a fraud. Some of them, I think, are honest and just getting played.
Was it a good job, like a good salary? Because play me, you know what I mean? Go ahead.
No, I mean, he was even holding back getting paid himself for this deal. I remember him talking about it.
Yeah, that's not
and,
a play.
Automotive Parts for Less had a great model, has a great model. And again, like we've talked about so many times, the company doesn't operate it operates separately from the stock. Yeah. And you have to be able to run a public company and the business. And it's really tough, man. And you got to be able to trust people. So, I mean, we've had him on the show. We've definitely shout out to Long Bully Stick for coming up alongside this guy and trying to help him out for a long time. Long Bully Stick, if you're on, thank you so much for being part of our show and supporting us. It's great to have people like you in the audience.
Yeah, and have you heard anything from Chris? Because he was gone,
Just gone,
because he did that weekly show on Twitter for some time. Then I think that the deal with Brett Rosen fell through, and from that point on, he disappeared.
Well, I talked to Chris Davenport a few times, and ultimately,
okay,
there?
No, he froze up now. I think
he froze up.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a really tough situation, and I sometimes get that vibe with CLNV, but
it has been like this so far. There is no doubt.
Yeah, it's just tough to trust it. Like I want to, God.
Yeah, because it has potential if they really can do that factory, with the plastic stuff, and it's an issue out there. I mean, that there should be demand. This potentially this could be a big OTC company. Over time,
it could
if they can deliver this stuff, because
there's the rub.
Yeah.
So I thought he was a smart move. He turned back on a money making option for the company to help try to get through this, and that was the lift kits for less.
Yes,
I remember he did that. He turned that back on, started bringing revenue to the bottom line, and that was good because it was just a faucet. But he couldn't get a marketing budget to get auto parts for less off the ground, and that was supposed to be the cash cow.
Yeah, it's just too bad. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, that's not the case with CLNV. To date, it's been the case, but maybe it's finally time. So we'll see. But outside of that, not a ton of movement.
Did you pull up IGPK?
Yeah, I was just seeing how it was going since you mentioned Long Bully Stick, seeing how things are going there. What did they file for now? An AS raise and a split?
Yeah, they filed both with SOS. I mean, the AS is apparently is already implemented. You can see it. If you look up SOS, the split is the question, right? When will FINRA process it? Will FINRA process it at all?
It's taking a year, 6 months to a year for a turnaround on that right now.
yeah, FINRA, it takes
Not quick.
forever with these guys.
And FINRA's pushing back. If there's a history of splits, they don't want to authorize it, and they give you flack. I mean, if you haven't reverse split it a ton and it hadn't happened much, they're more likely to do it, but it's still a 6-month turnaround for your authorization, and then you have to implement it.
Well, maybe, I don't know if they were dating someone that worked at RNVA or if RNVA was sending edible arrangements over to FINRA, but boy, oh boy, they missed the mark on this one. I'll tell you what. I mean, they split this thing every year. RNVA.
Yeah, must not be an issue in the background. So
not
they
the same
split
now,
it.
though.
It's just that's another thing. They want to protect us. Better than putting CEs on stocks would be if they protect us from companies that do more than one reverse split, let's say in 5 years. How about that rule?
How about this for protection? I don't feel protected when I see things like this happen. You know what I mean?
What stock is that?
Protected.
But at least first, this one went from 1 to like 18.
That's true. So, yeah.
But late, if you were late, you weren't protected so much.
No, you weren't. And so, I mean,
is that an OTC company?
That, it's just a little bit funny to me that this is their idea of protection, is to make everyone leave. And then their idea of protection is to, like, people are out here. And I said it, remember I said, 3 years ago, when they were changing the rules, I said at one point they're going to start buying just balls coin or ass coin or something like that. And you know what? They are.
Yeah.
They are. They're buying balls.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny to me that they had a great little sandbox happening there in the OTC. And with some light regulation, a little bit of enforcement, they could have made it better. And instead, they did what they did, and now people are buying balls.
Yeah, and since these guys buy balls, you know that you don't need to come up with some arguments why some OTC stock is good or not good, because I mean they clearly they aren't going too deep,
Yeah. So frustrating to see. And volume wise, very low. But there's a couple of opportunities coming around, and so we'll keep picking away. But that's really what I got in terms of what's happening out here.
Yeah, last 10 days it has been more quiet again. There's all
the surge in the big board with the election wins. So I mean, I knew it was going to take something away. But the whole point is we get the boys back up with their money on the big boards. They're going to start coming to play in the more speculative market. And we all know that's what happens. We're coming up towards Christmas. Usually you'll get a surge in OTC buying around the holidays, people gambling. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, January often okay as well. And now we got another rate cut a little bit. So, I mean, it's lining up, I guess. My main question is, and Pat probably has an opinion on this, is everything around the macro picture is lining up more and more now. Trump won, which is also good, I guess, for us. But is there too much capital that goes a different way now? Capital that we have, like risk capital,
That's the problem. Is are people just going 100% crypto direction?
It's a real problem. I think one of the biggest issues for OTC is meme coins. I mean, it is.
I mean, this is the problem, is that people like you look at like a young person could buy something like this, and in a month change their life on a joke they like, and or what, go here and get sent to the grays with $20 a day in volume, you know, and so I mean, the one positive is that, you know, Trump's said he's going to fire Gary Gensler.
Yeah, that's I mean that's the best thing ever, you know.
Yeah, and so maybe the end of that regime in the Securities and Exchange Commission might bring on some understanding of, you know what, we do have a market here. We could lean into that speculation a little bit. We could keep a nice sandbox here, a nice regulated sandbox here for that exact same type of trader. Because like, and this volume is no joke. Like, so this on the day 5 million, but you know, here's a new one that just happened today. $43 million on the day. World's first cyber rodent.
Yeah.
You know,
Cyber what?
Cyber rodent. They hooked a rat up to AI and got it answering questions. It was feeding the answers to questions through its brain.
It's insane.
You know, but this coin actually is not even related to that rat. It's just in honor of that rat. And it did
wrong.
And it did $43 million today. So forgive me for saying
I'm in the wrong business.
that, right. So forgive me for saying that maybe they could loosen up a touch here.
Yeah.
Like, and FINRA and all them could loosen up a touch, because any kid can load up a wallet and buy this regardless of their age, regardless of anything. With no regulation internationally, 43 million bucks in how, and here's the kicker, an hour and 59 minutes.
Is all it traded?
Yes.
Yeah, it's I'm convinced for a while that this is the single biggest issue for OTC.
Right. And we saw
the rule change, everything has a little bit, but this is by far the biggest issue.
And we saw it early on when they started with crypto a little bit, like, you know, 2017, 2018, they were, you know, trading those BNB things and it was getting slow, and then they came back because it was a crappy chain. You know what I mean? And now that they've got this Solana chain and it's so seamless and cheap now, like for me to slap $1,000 worth of this, the fees might be $2. You know, and so, you know, it's, and I'm not saying, oh, you know, the OTC is done, but like my opinion would be that, like, in looking at this, like to wake up as a regulator and look at this and then look at this and ask yourself the question, like, where have you gone wrong here? And do you think this is, you know, like they blew it?
Yeah.
You know?
The thing is, are they even interested to not blow it, you know? Because
I don't think
everything
so.
they did lately was basically hurting the retail guy as much as humanly possible. They cannot do anything about the meme coins for now, at least, but they can do something here. That's the thing. Is the will there? Even if Gensler is gone, is the will there to make this a better place? I don't know.
I don't know, but like in the last 8 minutes, if you bought it, you're up 28%.
Yeah, no, I can see. Despite that, I personally don't want to do it. I mean, but I can see a lot of arguments why others want to do it, why young people want to do it. You know, I'm too old now, I guess. Other than like you know, playing a few coins here and there that have a purpose, but I can see why young people might prefer this. It's liquid. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of coins, do you know that with President Donald Trump coming in, it's the beginning of the conservative wave across North America, and there is only one Pierre Poilievre coin.
Which is amazing that there is still only one. How is it possible there is still only one?
it's crazy. If you look at the polling data for like, this isn't even close.
I thought Trudeau fled the country.
No, he's here, but I mean, like, they're like, if you thought Trump won a landslide, look at this. There's Trudeau there, and there's Pierre there.
When's voting going to be done?
Well, the thing is that in Canada, it can happen at any time. It's like England. So
what
like,
triggers it?
well, it'll be some type of beef or whatever in the House of Representatives or the House of Commons, we call it.
They haven't started that already?
Well, it could happen at any time. It could happen tomorrow. You just don't know. And so, like, and trying to get Americans to understand, like, at any moment, there could be an election and this guy's going to replace Justin Trudeau, who's a serious conservative, going to be on stage with Trump and Elon and everything. And, you know, one of these days, man, like, the team working on this is experienced, and I'll tell you what, it's the real deal. So I don't know what people are waiting for, but look out, man.
Yeah, and you
You're
can see
a major coin surge.
Yeah, how well this held up. You know, it's not something that you see often. You know, so I have a lot of hope on this one.
Someone would look at it at trip one and think that it's low, or that people aren't holding it strongly. But, like, just as an example, I mean, so here is something yesterday that yesterday this pulled $500,000. It's at quad 4. You know what I mean? And so, like, or is that quints or quads? You know, and so, like, I don't think people fully understand the strength of the hands in this, but one of these days, and it could be any day, it could be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's one definitely I want to play, but I mean, for the midterm.
Yeah, no, it's and I'm in it really strongly as well, because at some point, you know, Elon's going to be tweeting about it. You know,
imagine, yeah,
especially with him being a conservative. So, I guess we'll see. But yeah, the OTC. I hope with the end of Gensler, maybe someone will come in and say, you know what, we got to do something different here.
I'd like to see some unity on all of North America as a whole. I mean, like Mexico, America, and Canada. If we all came together and went back to more not trying to say right wing, but conservative, not completely liberalist methodologies, I think that we could strengthen North America as a whole. I mean, in a big way. I mean, the border thing, the Chinese sucking money out of each of our countries through Temu, and I can't name all the little apps they've created and stores they've laundered to suck money right out of our economy and use their own manufacturing. But they market the heck out of it in all of our nations.
Yeah,
and people don't know. They just go buy it because it's cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper. It's also not made in our country or your country, and 100% of that money leaves and does not come back.
Well, and that's the point of tariffs. You know, people say, well, it'll cost people money. That's the point. It's like, if this Chinese product is costing the same as an American product because of the tariffs, then you're going to buy American. You know what I mean? Like,
it won't matter.
That's the point. And so, you know, and it allows American companies to thrive. Let's take a look. Just to give you an example, just to tell you what we're dealing with here. Here we go. You ready?
What is that?
That's the same one we looked at, now up 72%.
The same what?
The rodent. So it was 28% earlier, and now it's 72%. You know, Gary Gensler, he's got to go, and then we got to talk about what we're going to do with this OTC, because they are way too tight and uptight.
Yeah, and in half a year they want to change that the tier, the current tier to the OTC ID, or how they call it. They want to make it, I think, a little bit more difficult for companies to get to current. They require something else that they don't require right now.
Yeah.
So
this still blows me away. Like, not even on Ethereum, not on any other chain.
Why? I mean, every cat has like 18 different coins with the same name.
Even Tim Walls.
Yeah.
Like, even Tim Walls has 10,000 coins.
So strange.
Think about that.
But it's a good thing. It's
a great thing. I mean, because you know where they're going to go when it's time. But it's just slow going right now. But one of these days, I tell you what. So,
yeah,
you guys realize that Trump has already agreed to meet with President Putin about calling off the war in Ukraine?
That would be great, and I don't know what it will take, because I'm assuming that he's going to want something, but who knows? It would sure be nice.
Once the pipelines back up, honestly, you already know.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta do something about that, because there's a lot of death and a lot of killing, and Iraq was a mistake once, and that was the right wing's mistake, and now I would say that Ukraine may fall into that column for the left. So there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got, guys.
What a great show it's been.
Let's hope we get a little bit more busy again, because we had a couple of weeks, even maybe 2 months, where some good stuff happened. If you are into low floats and stuff, you had like a ton of runners, to be honest. Obviously, you have to be in all of them. I know it's not easy to do for many people, but at least we had a lot of organic runners, and it fell asleep a little bit the last 2 weeks, last 10 days. We don't have that energy anymore for now, and I hope it comes back.
Well, if they keep doing stuff like this,
that's the thing.
Never gonna come back.
ASII, RDAR. I mean, they sure. I mean, sucked a lot of money in lately.
Well, it's funny because, like, with RDAR coming back, it would be like Frankenstein shows up at your house. You'd be like, maybe I don't remember this guy, and you let him in. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. Is this a bad guy?
It's now up to 4 billion DTC. I don't even know how many they diluted in the last few weeks since they announced the deal, because now we cannot even look it up anymore, because now they even OTC Markets even took away the share structure bots from us. So I cannot even freaking looking up how many shares are diluted lately. I mean,
they don't. OTC Markets won't even let you see the updates.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I just know it was a ton they diluted, but I don't even know how many.
Yeah, OTC Markets, a guy was running a Telegram bot that would say when all the changes happened to officers and share structure and stuff, and the OTC Markets threatened him out of continuing to run it.
Yeah, because it's data from their homepage, from their page, and
well, and they're trying to sell that. I understand, anyways. It's the rumor, but they're trying to sell that data as a service now.
Yeah, but to whom?
Who knows? I mean, who needs?
It's a fortune, from what I heard.
Yeah, who's going to buy it?
I don't.
They don't buy the stocks.
Nope.
Maybe everybody's buying the data now, and nobody has money left for the stock. That's why,
maybe. Well, there you go, guys.
Nobody can say they make it easy for an OTC trader. I mean,
no, I mean, they make it harder
to us in the last 3 years, all in all. It's mind blowing.
Look at this. I mean, they should be sitting there and looking at this and going, you know what, we got to chill.
Yeah.
This is a rat's face. That's all the information they have is this. A rat's face.
Yeah, but they buy a rat's face. But if there is a really good setup on the OTC with good catalyst, they start to analyze as if it was Apple, you know.
It's an
but
emerging
if you
growth
say-
company. It's not Apple.
If you tweet, hey, I like this, they'd be like, interesting thing about the earnings. And then
I
they'll
always
buy a
tell them,
rat's ass.
that's not the thing that makes this run or not. That's not the important part of the DD. You have to concentrate on. It won't decide if this one is running or not. They come with the DD packages from, I don't know, 2015, and there they buy a rat's face, you know. So
Well, and that's
I
what's
really
so
think
funny.
I,
And
th- I
that's why
think
I'm
the
not
clincher.
tweeting a lot of the things I'm doing now is because every time I do, Inspector Clouseau shows up with an evidence kit to get, you know what I mean? And then meanwhile, it's a rat's ass.
I think the clincher to the key to it for OTC is the market sentiment. Like what we used to have, which we don't have now, like in the AMC and GME run, is people coming together. Like if people come together and they find a good company, it doesn't matter what the widget is. If they have a revenue model that's generating profits, the company's growing, and it's reasonable, and the share structure is right, and everybody comes together, we can have winners left and right. I mean, it's not about manipulating the market; it's about being unified in some way. And I just don't think people are managing the communications with shareholders and investors in a way they should, transparently and regularly, and they don't have enough going on to be able to captivate or keep their audience tuned in. And then nobody in their audience is coming together to talk about it, like opening up a shareholder chat room on Facebook, or doing a Reddit subreddit on Reddit for the stock, and everybody jumping in the bandwagon. It's like that's what needs to happen. So let's find some good ones. Let's get that AI podcast thing running. We'll do some monthly votes on out of the 15 stocks we talked about this month, if we're going to do one every other day or one a day. Out of the 30 we talked about, which ones does everybody in the audience want to focus on, and let's go after them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see. The next 2 months gonna be interesting because this is typically not a bad time for the OTC. At least starting in December, we usually see some tax loss selling in November, but I don't even know if that's an issue this year because I don't know how many people even have a lot of gains.
Probably not much. Yeah.
But usually December, like mid-December, January is usually good. So hopefully, or more times than not, let's say like this.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
I'm on the way.
Yeah. Have a good one. And next week, this is a big one. I think this should have a good turnout also because ACRH made a lot of noise with that huge move, and people now know that these guys have stocks like GPLS as well, and CHAT was also a good move. So this might be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you,
Fingers
we're
crossed.
just give you a little heads up. We're going to be also, I believe, live streaming to AZRH's Instagram channel, which has
Sweet.
a large following.
Okay.
Well, that's great.
So we'll be going to the Instagram. We'll be on Twitter or X, and we'll also be on YouTube. And we're going to do some marketing we haven't done before. And Pat, I got to talk to you about that and get that all set up as soon as we set up the channel or the event. Guys,
Great.
Good.
we've had a great day.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I'm on to the next thing.
No.
I'm on the move, man. I got
All said
kids.
and done.
They want rides.
All right, guys.
See
See
you.
ya.
Have a
Have a
blessed
good
night,
one.
man. Everybody, thanks for joining JRC Stock Talk. We're here really to work with you as investors and traders. We want to know from you directly, what stocks are you looking at? What questions do you have? What can we dive into for you? What can we go after? And companies can we get on the show so you can find out firsthand the information you're looking for? Please go and follow us on YouTube at JRC Stocks. Also, find us on Twitter. We have me at JRC_stocks. We have Shido _74. And we have Patrick or Pat McKay at Kiko Stocks. Please get in touch with us, DM us, let us know what we can focus on for you, the investor, because we want to see you succeed. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Have a great time, and we'll see you next week for an amazing show with